So hello everyone, thank you for watching ICO Grill. Today we have with us Nate Flanders, co-founder and CEO of Mandala Exchange. Hello Nate and welcome to ICO Grill.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure. Well, I cannot start anywhere else but to ask you why do we need just another exchange into the crypto world? Can you please share that with us?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot. Is it just another exchange? Why is there another exchange coming? Well, there is a big reason we're launching an exchange, and it's to eliminate boundaries of entry for new users, new investors that don't have experience in traditional trading or investing markets. We wanted to simplify the process while retaining a full stack exchange platform.
So how do you do that?
So we're going to have semi-automatic tools to start that are going to provide risk management options for users in a clear, simple use case where the tools can be single click. Any strategies or risk management can be added to orders, can rebalance portfolios simply, and users will be able to understand it without having to dig through the internet for lessons. They're maybe open-ended in many cases.
So sort of like a trading bot, or
we'll have a few different scenarios in one sense of the platform. The semi-automatic tools being risk management, signaling tools, and then we're going to have a fully automatic system called a trade assistant. So it'll take all of those variables from the risk management portion for their risk tolerance, as well as their signaling and their strategies, and compile it into a trading strategy that can be automated through the system.
Right. So you say that you're breaking barriers for the newcomers. So would you provide any sort of indoctrination into the process or any sort of education? How do you envision that?
Sure. Yeah. So the entire interface is going to be in plain English, easy to understand, and there'll be a step-by-step process on how to enter the market, when they should enter and exit, and why. So there will be a training aspect along the way throughout the platform.
Right. Well, you're also talking about cutting-edge security. Can you say a little bit more about that? How is your how are you better in this aspect than existing exchanges?
Sure. So one major aspect we're bringing is actually a hardware wallet. This will allow users to store their crypto as well as their private keys offline. And it's also, what's unique, going to allow them to trade in real time from their hardware wallet. So we'll be able to sign the transactions back and forth between the user's wallet as well as the exchange.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's our major security benefit there. We're also going to integrate different security protocols as far as login registration. So we'll have the typical 2FA. We're also looking to partner and integrate facial recognition software, which is going to be optional to users for their mobile device. So when they log in, they'll be able to use a biometric style entry. So.
Cool. So what other features will the exchange have? I noticed you were talking also about some sort of a network of traders and mentors. How will that part of it work?
So we're going to integrate a full in-house kind of social media aspect. The users are able to create user profiles and create followers on the platform. That the users can share content, share their trading strategies, share their P&L, if it's a high, some type of leaderboard system. This also comes down to the utility token, or the utility of the token, our MDX, where users can do peer-to-peer marketplace, and it can be used as a tipping system. So if a user's generating followers on the platform and sharing good content, users can tip them with MDX. They can also sell their services, trading strategies, or signaling alerts, or bot strategies for MDX tokens.
Nice. So what other uses will the token have within the network?
Sure. So the token has an array of utilities. Some are pending compliance with the SEC, which would be like the profit sharing, the dividend models, the backward dividends, like the token burns. But initially, the users will have the ability for discounted trading. And what's unique with that, they're not only going to receive discounts by trading against the MDX pair, they'll receive a blanket discount just for holding the tokens, and it'll be a free discount where those tokens are not used to pay the fees, like how other exchanges with a native token do.
Okay, cool. So in terms of fees, can you speak a little bit about that? How expensive it will be to trade on Mandala Exchange?
So the fee structure without holding tokens is right at 0.2%. So holding the tokens, users have the ability of up to 80% discounted trading fees.
Well, that's cool. And speaking of SEC and regulatory compliance, will you be a compliant exchange? We know now that they're going after exchanges as well. And also, how do you select what tokens and assets to trade on the exchange? Are they going to be all compliant, or what's your approach on that?
That's a great question. The compliance side of things was a major priority for us. We see how the market's kind of transitioning into a regulatory or need for compliance. Mm-hmm. So particular in the United States where we'll be hosted, we are working closely with the SEC and have been for a while. We have we'll be filing a registration A+ for our US entity for the exchange to be a full securities exchange and security token. Under a broker-dealer, we'll have to acquire a broker-dealer, as well as our ATS and state-by-state MTLs. However, that process is drawn out with the SEC, and we wanted to get to a crowd sale to raise funding for the project without any long delays or lockup periods. So we formed an offshore entity in the Cayman Islands under a registration S, which allows us to sell our tokens in a typical crowd sale format internationally to retail investors and up. However, we have to exempt the US, so we're not allowed to accept US participants, and there's about a list of 10 other countries where we're not unable to sell to as well. But what that registration S does for our offshore entity allows us to repatriate the funds that we raised back to our US entity, as well as allow the flow back of the security tokens we sold internationally. And that's when that'll happen once the registration A+ and all the filings in the States is complete.
Nice. But then in terms of tokens tradable on the exchange,
sure.
Will you require them to be compliant, or what's your outlook on that?
That's a good question too. So in the United States, the tokens have to be compliant under either a 506C Reg D, or they have to be registration A+. If they're an international company, they have to have documentation stating that they are compliant with international securities laws. So we are working closely with about 15 to 25 companies right now in token, in the sense of tokens that will be listed. And it first was relatively difficult to find who was compliant, who wasn't, and what country we could host and what we could not. But we found a pretty clear path for at least onboarding new companies to be listed in our token.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question. How do you do that? How do you verify all that information?
Sure. So there is a bit of due diligence on our end, through legal at least. The documents we receive, they have to be verifiable as a public registration if they are an international company, which we have an amazing legal team that's been very diligent on that side. So they've made it a very simple process, so to speak, in their sense. So.
Yeah, great. So in terms of the development, can you share a bit on what stage is the platform right now and what to expect?
I have some very exciting development news. We have not released it to the public yet. Right now our roadmap is showing Q4 for full launch. But there is a very exciting announcement coming, and it may be much sooner. And we give a window, we can say between 30 and 60 days, we may have a full launch. So.
Nice. Cool. Well, we'll be happy to keep us posted and update our community as well on that.
Yeah. So the development, actually, just to touch on that a little bit, is we partnered with some of the industry-leading financial tool developers. They've been actually creating trade engines since 1997. They recently got into crypto, and we were lucky enough to partner with them, and they brought some very, very advanced technology to the table that we're actually going to be first to market with, which is very exciting. So all of the development pre-crowd sale, any of that, my partner and I actually bootstrapped. So we were early to development. So we're way ahead of roadmap, which is very exciting, very, very exciting.
It sounds great. So what will be your approach on the go-to-market strategy? How will you find your first users and supporters?
Sure. So we have kind of an organic approach. I actually am co-founder of one of the largest, most active crypto groups on the internet called Crypto Coin Trader. We have over 114,000 members.
Yeah, I think I'm a member in that.
Yeah, very cool. So we'll have the organic approach through our resources, networks, and experiences in crypto, of course, but we have also our standard marketing approach where we're going to have global PR going out. We're going to have some very, very aggressive incentives for users to sign up, being large referral bonuses, and then under compliance, some really exciting profit sharing models legally that we'll be able to provide. So some of the things we're unable to touch on because of compliance, but we have a very aggressive go-to-market strategy.
Well, that's a cool thing that you can do profit sharing and be compliant at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right. So what are your biggest challenges ahead of you, and what risks are associated with?
Biggest challenges, I think, will always come back to compliance now, and regulatory bodies that we're dealing with. So everything, crypto was the wild, wild west, right, of the internet and financial transferring. But now going towards this compliance, we have to walk a very straight line, and do everything by the book to stay compliant, to avoid any retroactive penalties or even criminal charges. That's a big hurdle, I think, for us, as far as.
Because your main company is registered in the US, from what I understood, correct?
The exchange, yes, will be registered in the US. Right now, the token sale portion of it is registered in the Cayman Islands.
Okay, so can you speak a little bit more about the token sale? How many tokens will be issued, and what will be the distribution, any vesting periods, all that?
Yeah, so the supply sold at crowd sale is 260 million MDX tokens. That makes up 65% of the total supply of 400 million tokens. So the distribution right now in pre-sale, the tokens are actually locked up until main sale. Once main sale hits, anyone who participated in pre-sale and main sale can just have it distributed outside of our platform into their personal wallets. However, we will not be listed on any other exchanges because we will be a native token to our exchange only. So that's the exciting part about the early launch, possibly. It's the full liquidity that we'll be able to bring to our investors.
So what are you going to use the proceeds for?
They're going to go towards marketing, legal, compliance. We have reserves, for unforeseen, legal hurdles or regulations that we may run into, as well as providing liquidity pools as well, and a special functionality towards the market making, at least against the hardware wallet, where we'll be able to sign transactions. So.
Can you speak a little bit more about that? Sounds interesting. About the liquidity tool?
Sure, yeah. So that was a major focus for us. The opening an exchange without liquidity is not very attractive. Mm-hmm. So we made a point to, with our developers, they helped us partner with 6 other exchanges where we'll be able to share the liquidity books for the tokens that we have listed that they also have listed. And those 6 exchanges combined generate up to 6 billion trade volume per day.
Okay.
So for our native tokens and new companies that will be listed, we've partnered with some of the largest market making funds to come in and create liquidity in those books that aren't shared with other exchanges. So essentially, the day the exchange launches, even if there's 0 users, there'll be full liquidity for anyone to access. So.
Cool. So you mentioned that you already started signing up tokens for the exchange. Can you share a little bit more on that?
We can't discuss in particular, but I mean, we obviously will have the commodity tokens right out of the rip, which right now are only Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a couple others. As far as the companies we're bringing on, we do have some really great partnerships we're working on. One of them in particular is DigiFarm, which is a great project coming up. But as far as the other ones, they're under NDA right now. So we'll be making those announcements for listings right at main sale launch starting June.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Nate. And as we're coming to a close, would you like to say some final words to the community and invite them to support you?
Yeah, absolutely. We've already received so much support from the community. Smashed our soft caps, within the first 7 to 9 days. We're steady flowing. Of course, they can all visit mandalaex.com and get more info there. We also have a Telegram channel where we have an open line of communication to everyone. So we're happy to connect and clarify where we can.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being here, and we will share all the links and information on your ICO Grill page.
Awesome.
And everyone,
thank you so much for having me.
Get in touch, yes, of course.